Another important thing we see in this section is that this society is rewriting history. We see this in the story of the origins of the firemen. Montag questions Captain Beatty about what he heard from Clarisse. Is it true that at one point the firemen used to put out fires instead of start them? The story about firemen always being the ones to start fires is so pervasive that Montag even has trouble forming a question about it. He uses the words once upon a time when he's trying to ask this question. He feels silly, he feels childish and ridiculous asking this question. Firstly, because he's not used to asking questions, but also because it is so strange to him to consider that something other than this story that he grew up with might be true. When Montag asks about the origin of the firemen, Stoneman and Black immediately whip out their firemen's rule books, and they've got the history of the firemen right there. Take a look. Established 1790 to burn English-influenced books in the colonies. First fireman, Benjamin Franklin. Using Benjamin Franklin's name in this story gives it legitimacy because he was one of the founding fathers, and of course, following the American Revolution, why wouldn't he have wanted to get rid of English influence in the colonies? They're taking advantage of those basic facts about Benjamin Franklin to make their story plausible. Of course, this is really ironic because Benjamin Franklin was a prolific writer. He was a philosopher. He was a problem solver, and he devoted himself to thinking and discussion and communication. Now, preventing discussion is part of this society's attempts to rewrite history. The firemen carry their rule books with them, these books with this false history. They don't have any reason, any chance to go looking for the history. Everything you need to know, we have given to you, and you're going to hold it and keep it with you. There's no need to go find anything else. Clarisse tells us those habits start with the children in that society. There's no questions or discussions in school. There is no problem solving or critical thinking. They just hand the children all of the answers. Say, you don't need to go looking for anything else. Here's what you need. And anyone who does go looking for something else immediately gets a label of crazy. In the very first scene of the book, Montag is lighting a house and a book collection on fire, and we find out that that man was taken to the asylum. Beatty says in this section, any man's insane who thinks he can fool the government and us. Clarisse has been officially labeled as antisocial. She has mandatory visits with a psychiatrist who's trying to figure out what's wrong with her. Why does she like to sit and think? So that is a tool in legitimizing that false history, is to ridicule or criminalize anyone who questions it.